Hey everyone, this is Robert Plank from backupcreator.com, and today I'm going to show you how to remove unwanted items from your WordPress blog. Now this is a question I get asked a lot, and we've kind of all been there, where we said, well, you know, I want to remove just this one part of my WordPress site, or maybe I want to install this one plugin to remove the date next to my post, or maybe I just don't like the way that they've put this or they've worded that. And I mean, there's plugins to do this and that. There are settings depending on the theme you use, but sometimes you just want one little part of that page, of that blog, to be taken out. And I'm going to show you kind of a one-size-fits-all way to do that on any blog that you want. And I'm going to warn you, this is going to look at some HTML code. It might be kind of scary, but I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. And here are the tools we're going to use. First of all, we're going to use a browser called Firefox. You can see right now I'm using a browser called Chrome, and I'm just going to close that down, and I'm going to use Firefox instead. So the reason I use Firefox is because they have this plugin called Firebug. And basically what you can do is you can right-click on any part of a web page and kind of figure out what it is and what part of your page to remove. Then we're going to install a WordPress plugin that pretty much allows you to change the design of your WordPress site. So they allow you to do things like, I mean, say you want to have all of your link colors suddenly be orange, or you want to have the size of the text on your blog suddenly be a different size. Well, you use this tool called CSS, and we can just change the look and feel of our WordPress blog even if we're using someone else's theme. Pretty cool, actually. So once we do that, I'm just going to show you how to right-click on the part of the WordPress blog you want to remove, and then pretty much identify it, because most of these things are named in a certain way. And once you remove that, then we're going to add in one little piece of code into the CSS plugin that we're using. And I mean, I know that right now it might look kind of scary, but it's really not that difficult. We're just going to either put a dot or a number sign and the name of the thing you want to remove, and then these curly quotes, display, colon, none, semicolon, curly quotes again. And I'm going to show you this a couple times just to make sure you get it, so don't worry about that at all. So let's get to removing some unwanted items from your WordPress blog. Now, as we said, we've got this Firefox plugin. Oops, lost that for a second. We've got this, not a plugin, we've got a browser called Firefox. And basically, if you go to Firefox and you go to add-ons, so at the top Firefox menu, go right to add-ons, you're not going to have really any of these plugins that I have. So I'm just going to remove that plugin so we can start from the same fresh page. So we're going to start up this thing called Firefox, and let me just close this. So we're going to start off, and we're going to be just at a normal old, how do we close this, web browser right here. And we want to install this thing called Firebug. Now, what Firebug will allow you to do is they will add a little bug icon on the right here, which will allow us to kind of look into the code on our web page. Okay, so we're going to go to Firefox, add-ons, and then we're going to search for Firebug, one word, that's Firebug. And let that search, and the first one, Firebug 1.9.1, yours might be a little more recent, but let's just click on install, and then it should install it right here from the browser. It's downloading, it'll be here in a second, and then it says Firebug will be installed after you restart Firefox. Click on restart now, give it a second. So now Firefox will load, and we'll have this Firebug add-on, they call it, ready to go. And so if we click on this plus sign, now you can see that the little bug we wanted is there, and then we can see lots of cool things about our web page. And here's what I mean. I mean that now when we load the web page, we can actually see how long the page took to load, how much stuff was on the page, and so on and so on. We don't really care so much about that. What we're going to do is we're going to find something on the page, for example, the search box. We can right click it, and here now we have this inspect element with Firebug. Okay, so we click on that. Well, what happened is over on this HTML tab, and you can kind of hover over parts of this to kind of get the right thing to highlight. What's going to happen here is we can see that this says input ID equals S, class equals field. So one thing to look for when you're looking at stuff on your web page is that most things, not all, but most, parts of, especially a WordPress blog, are going to have either an ID equals something or a class equals something. Okay, and we'll get back to that in a second, but let's just make a note that right here, this search box here, the ID was the letter S. I know it's kind of hard to see with letter S, and the class was called field, and we'll get back to that in a minute. But what we said in our steps was that we were going to install a plugin in WordPress called PC Custom CSS, and this will allow us to hide any part of our blog that we want to right there from within WordPress without having to edit a bunch of crazy stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to click on login, and I will log into my WordPress dashboard here. Okay, so we're going to go to plugins, add new, and then search for PC Custom CSS. Not sure why they called it PC, but that's just the one that's called. It's called PC Custom CSS. Once again, the very first one, click install now. And it might ask you for your FTP login, but mine didn't. Click on activate plugin. And now what have we done? Well, we can go over to, I believe it is appearance. So now we can go to appearance, custom CSS, and now we can add in any kind of additional tweaking and changing of the layout. So here's what I mean, is when we go back to visit the site, remember how we had the search box here? Well, you can right click, inspect element with Firebug. We said it had an ID of S, just one letter, the letter S, okay? And, well, we said that everything in your web page that you want to remove or hide, it's either going to be what's called a class, which means that there are many parts on this web page just like it, or an ID, which means that it's the only one. Kind of like how you can be in a 5th grade classroom and there are many other students like you, but on the other hand, you have an ID card, you have like a driver's license or a passport, and it's the only one. Okay? So what's going to happen is that you're going to right click stuff and you're going to see that it'll either be ID equals something or class equals something. And the way that we're going to keep track of these things is if it's an ID, we're going to put a hash mark or a number sign or a pound sign just before it. Okay, so if it's an ID, it's got this pound sign and then whatever the name of it is. If it's a class, it's got a dot and the name of it. Alright, so just to kind of review for you here, is that on this, well, this would be a hash mark S, or it would be a dot field. Either one of these would work. And let's just go first and try hash mark S. Alright, so based on our notes, we said that once we found the thing that we wanted to change, we would put in either like hash mark component or dot component, and then curly quotes, display, colon, none, semicolon, curly quotes again. Whoops. So let's try that out real quick. Alright, so we're going to go back to the custom CSS. And remember how we said that that was, let me zoom in for you here. This was hash mark S, okay? And then we used it as space, curly quotes, display, colon, none, semicolon. Alright, pretty simple. So we're just saying, if there's something on this web page with the ID equals S, don't show it. So click on Save Changes, Settings Saved, go back here and refresh. And if all goes well, look at that. Now that search box has been removed. So maybe we want to remove something else. Maybe we want to remove even the title of our web page. All right, let's right-click, inspect element with Firebug, and we can kind of figure out what part we want to remove. Do we want to remove this whole big block at the top, or just the name here? So here we go. If we want to remove just the name, we'd have to go up here to H1 ID equals site dash title. So same thing over here. We'll just go back here and we'll say, oops, close that. So we'll say hash mark site dash title, display none, save changes. And then once that's saving, we can refresh and check out the damage, check out what we've done here. So now, check this out. Now we've removed not only that search box, but also the title of our blog as well. Pretty cool stuff. And I mean, of course, if you want to get something back, like if you wanted to put the search box back, just select this, delete it, click Save Changes, and now we can, if we refresh, we haven't put the header back, but the search box is back. And you see that now? The search box is kind of in the weird area, which is why you should only be removing one piece of your blog at a time, and only remove like the real minor, not really important parts. Like for example, let's say you want to remove this little speech bubble with the number of comments. For some reason we just don't like that. So once again, right click, inspect element with Firebug. If we look here, well, we can see that this has a title attribute, an href, and so this one's going to be a little more tricky because it's got a class of comments dash link. And I guess let's just see what happens if we do that. Let's see if the bottom link here gets removed as well. Yeah, I think that might actually get removed. So let's see what happens here. So let's try removing comments dash link. All right. So we'll go back here and we'll say, well, actually, you know what happened was, if we look at this one more time, we see that this is now a class, not an ID. So instead of hash mark comments dash link, what are we going to do? We'll do dot comments dash link, because once again, I'll show you in our notes that, well, if it is a class, which means that there are many like it, then we'll be dot whatever it's called. Actually, I should say this is dot name, right? Dot name or hash name. So if it's a class, dot whatever it is, or if it's an ID, hash mark whatever it is. So we'll go back here and we see that it is class comments dash link. So right here we'll say dot comments dash link space curly quote display none. Save changes, refresh this, and now we can see, well, a couple things happened. First of all, this one at the top here disappeared, but the link at the bottom disappeared. You wanted to keep that one. Alright, so we're going to have to do something a little trickier, but that's okay. Let me just delete this for a second. And let's try to figure out, well, what's the difference between this top one and this bottom one? Okay, look at the real simple stuff. So on the bottom one, let's see, what are we looking at? This one here, we say that this is class entry dash meta, and within that is this comments dash link. Okay, and at the top, we see that this is entry dash header, and then within that we have comments dash link. So look at this. So we have entry dash header, within that comments dash link, but then this other one is entry dash meta, and within that comments dash link. So what we really want to do is just write down both of these, entry dash header, comments dash link. So let me make sure I can remember that. We'll say entry dash header space comments dash link display none. So now it's going to say, well, we're gonna hide anything with a class comments dash link, but only if it is inside of entry dash header. Let's see if this, I'm not even sure if this will work. It should work though. Go back, refresh, and check out what we did. So we removed that top little thing, but then left the reply link at the bottom. Now, one final, like, big dramatic change here is, let's try something like removing the sidebar. That'd be pretty cool, right? So let's just right click again, inspect element with Firebug. But we don't, so if we kind of see what's highlighted, we don't want to remove just this one block, so we're going to have to move further up. And now we can see that, well, the thing representing this whole block here is the div ID equals secondary. So see this? Over on the left side, we highlight div ID equals secondary, and on the right, it's kind of highlighting that for us. So we want to hide div ID equals secondary. So what do? Well, we say hashmark secondary display none, save changes, refresh on the other ends, and check it out. We've hidden the sidebar, so now our blog looks real simple and clean. I guess one more trick for the road. Let's try removing the date on this post. So right click, inspect element, and if we hover over, we don't want just that part, go up, further up. We want to get this div class entry dash meta. Okay, so once again, with an ID we do a hash mark, with a class do a dot. So you want to say entry dash meta display none, save changes, refresh. Let's make sure everything else, so we took out too much stuff. It took out the date, but it also took out the reply stuff down below, so we don't want that. So let's figure out how to fix that. And I think I have it. If you notice how the one that we want to remove is a div tag, div, and the one we don't want to remove is a footer tag, footer. So we'll just go back and we'll say, instead of hiding anything with entry-meta, we'll say div.entry-meta. And what this does is says hide a div tag with a class entry-meta, and let's see what happens. Refresh and check out what we did. So we removed the sidebar, we removed the little speech bubble at the top, we removed the date, but we kept everything on here as well. So it's a real easy way to just make some real custom design changes, especially if you find that perfect theme, but just one little thing needs to be changed, and you can't really find a plugin to change the appearance, and the theme options don't really do it. Now, I know someone's going to yell at me if I don't explain this to you, but what you want to do first is go to Appearance Theme Options, because many themes will give you things like, for example, you can change the link colors in here, you can go to Appearance Header, and many times you can just say that I want to remove the header image if you don't like that. So many of these WordPress themes already have things built in to make your life easier, and this little CSS tactic is something to use if nothing else really works. So once again, to make sure you got it, to remove some WordPress items, first of all, install the Firefox add-on or plugin called Firebug, and this is what we use to have that ability to be able to right-click something, inspect with Firebug, and very easily tell, well, can I get either the ID or the class or the tag name, but usually it's the class. And if it's a class, I say dot whatever this is. If it's an ID, it's whatever this is. And if I want to make sure I get the tag name and this, I can say div.entry-content. And I can actually put these together and have something apply to only if it's inside of this and stuff like that. But anyway, the usual go-to is we just say right-click what's the class and then have dot whatever it is. Okay, so that's what that does. What's what Firebug does. And then we install a WordPress plugin called PC Custom CSS, and once we find the class name or the ID name of a part of our web page, we can then use this plugin. This is also a free plugin, and we can say hide this one part of the web page. Okay, so we figure out either the class, and if it's a class, then it's dot name, which means that there's many of them, or if it's an ID, it's hash mark name, and then we just add this to custom CSS, which is in the appearance menu. So appearance PC Custom CSS, and then we just say dot whatever it was called, curly quote, display colon none semicolon curly quote. And I mean, you might have to write this down at first, but eventually you'll see this enough where it'll be second nature to you. And so once again, we just went to, in the dashboard, went to plugins, add new, added this thing called PC Custom CSS, and it adds the menu in the appearance area. So not in the settings like you might be used to, but in the appearance editor. And then we can just type in some CSS code like this and say, well, whatever it is, I want to just say display none and hide it and not show it to the world. So I hope that helps you. You might have to watch this video a couple times just to get it, just to apply it to your own WordPress site. But for me, it's pretty straightforward. For you, it should be straightforward after doing this a couple of times. And I mean, if you think about it, this is the great way to make this, to make your WordPress website exactly the way that you want it. And this is a great way to make a little bit of extra money. I mean, if you go to a site like Fiverr, for example, you go to a site like Odesk, and many people are happy to pay 10 bucks, 20 bucks, 50 bucks to have one little part of their web page change. And I mean, luckily, if they update their blog, if they update their theme, this custom CSS will still remain. So if you removed or you hid their sidebar for them, that's okay, because the sidebar will still be hidden if they change their theme or update their theme. So good stuff, and that's how to remove unwanted items from your WordPress blog. My name is Robert Plank from backupcreator.com. Thanks for watching.